Okay, here we are in the garden and it's June 24th and quite a bit has changed. Let's take a look. Succulents over here are flowering and spreading, which is awesome. I helped that process along a little bit last year. Going a little slow because I have a little bit of a knee injury. Okay, coming up on garden number 1. Let me just set this bag down. Annie, thank you for this bag, by the way. I use it for my camera and it's awesome. Something exciting that I just noticed today is that the cilantro flowered and went to seed. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, got some nice plump seeds there. It's very exciting. Down here we have the foxglove, grown from seed last year. Finally got it into the ground this summer, and hopefully it blooms beautifully for us at some point. The cucumbers have just, well, I'll have to back up to give you the full scope, but underneath you can see all the little flowers. And we're going to have some good cucumber harvests. There's a cucumber forming right there. But yeah, you can see how big it got. It's awesome. My little side garden back here is coming along, slowly but surely. Everything's still alive, so that's a plus. I've gotten most of the seedlings into the ground. We're down to 3 teddy bear sunflowers. Right there, there, and there. And a couple zinnias. Rosemary, marigolds, lilies, tomatoes, and was supposed to be parsley, but I think we've got some weeds growing in there. Okay, shifting over here to bed number 2. Quite a lot has changed. The kale has gotten a lot larger, and the basils down here are doing real nice. Got my marigolds. This one's about to bloom. All of these are marigolds. And then in this section here, these are all cosmos. They'll get real tall and hopefully have some real beautiful flowers. Down here we've got another teddy bear sunflower. And behind that we've got our beautiful cannabis plant. And behind that we've got our Mexican daisy, which is going to be real big. Saving the best for last are the zinnias in the back here. And these are just really beautiful. I don't know if the camera's doing it justice, just how large they're getting. They're going to be giants. One of the most exciting things in the garden today is the first daisy. Look at that beauty. I'm so excited. This is a year I've waited, but there's lots of blooms about to pop, so I have to figure out how to get this camera to focus when I'm taking videos, if it can even do that, but you get the idea. Ah, such a beauty. Anyway, shifting our focus over to garden bed 3. The onion patch is coming along. Doesn't look much different, but things have definitely grown larger. The zucchini plant that I put into the ground finally I thought was gonna die because it was so yellow in the pot, but once it was in the ground for a few days and started sucking off some of the nutrients in the ground, it really turned green and it's doing well. So I'm hoping we'll get some zucchinis. We have entirely too much kale over here. It's like unbelievable. I don't really know what I'm gonna do with all this kale. I think I'm gonna have to like Google it and figure out a way to freeze it, you know, for soups, because I use a lot of greens in soups. But yeah, lots of kale, especially considering all of this kale back here is coming into its own. So you really can't give it away at this time of year. Everybody's inundated from their own gardens. So yeah, the tomato plants are doing great. We've got 1, 2, 3, and 4, which you can't really see because of the Swiss chard bolt, which I've actually clipped off a fair amount of today because it was blocking so much sun. But I'm going to see if we can get some seeds off of that, so I'm going to let the rest of it go. The teddy bear sunflowers, I got finally a couple of them planted into a planter pot, and those should be really adorable when they bloom. The oregano patch is starting to turn to flower, so I'm going to harvest most of it soon and either use it fresh or dry it. I'll be sorry to see that patch go away. It's been fantastic. Shifting over here to the raspberry patch. I haven't really Googled how to properly care for raspberries. I believe you're really not supposed to cut them down to the ground every year, which is what I do. So we have a couple patches of berries. There's one, and then there's more, but they're hard to point out. But I think maybe you can get more blooms if you don't chop them down every year, so I'll have to look into that. The roses are pretty much, they've run their course, so they're gone. But boy, were they beautiful when they were in bloom. I'm gonna squeeze back here. It's getting a little overgrown. And I do have a little secret tomato plant down here that I had ran out of room in the garden beds, but thought I would just put it into the ground next to the fence where I can trellis it, and maybe we'll get some bonus tomatoes. So that's cool. This corner actually has more raspberries, but I don't think it's a smaller patch, so I don't know that we'll get many berries from that. But over here, these are, I think, blackberries, and they still have a ways to go, actually. But yeah, they're doing their thing, and I will definitely eat them when the time comes. So yeah. And last but not least, the grapevines are really, they do this every year. They come up over the fence, and it's almost time to give them a little first of the year trim back because they're pretty invasive and they start attaching to everything. As you can see, they're just coming out into the open here. But yeah, they're beautiful. And that's the neighbor's apple tree. Hard to see in this light, but full of apple bombs that, unfortunately, when dropping, come right down into my garden area. Bombs away. But anyway, yeah, so far no casualties, and things are really coming along. So yes, it's just about sunset here. Portland is gearing up to have a record heat wave coming this weekend. Every day for the next 3 days, up above 100 degrees, as high as 111, which I'll believe when I see, but hopefully that doesn't come to fruition. Anyway, I'm enjoying the cooler weather now while I can, and I'll be sure to give you guys another update on the garden. I don't know, in like a week or so. There she is, coming into her own. Goodbye for now. Love you guys.